So once you understand this, then we can start to get into deciding what should be harmonized, so what should be automated. And I think there's two dimensions to this. So one of them is, what's the frequency and how often does it happen? And the second one is, how important is it? So what's the value or the strategic value of it? So anything that happens a lot and is important should clearly get harmonized very standardly. Anything that is not important or doesn't happen very often should be handled offline, and somebody should manually do it. And then the tricky part is figuring out what goes on in this middle area here, right? But it's not, there's a tendency that I've often seen companies say, I need to automate for these 5 customers because they're 50% of my business. And it's not always clear that you do, because that stuff you can manpower that stuff through with Excel, and it's not so, you don't need to automate all of that, right? What you need to automate is the scale ones. You know, I call a lot of pricing software as the dark side of the 80-20 rule, right? So the 80% gets all the attention, and all the money disappears in the 20% that nobody's paying attention to because it's not that important, right? That's why you always get that. If you do size of customer and discounts, you know, you'd expect it to look like, let's do margin. You'd expect it to look like that, right? Flattening out, because a high margin, big customers have pricing power, so they get better prices. Small customers don't. But it never looks like that. It always looks like that, right? With a funnel. And that's because people here are paying attention, because there's big important customers. Here, small, it doesn't matter that much, we can do stuff. So these are the deals here that need to go away, right? Because they're low margin, small, low margin, and high risk of price erosion. So that's why this frequency and commonality thing is really important. Try and make the low value add decisions that are always the same go away with the automation process. Is a lot of value, because then it allows people to focus on these high importance things. That make sense? That's a good slide to have the conversation with customers with, right? And then doing a bit of mapping. You can actually map activities into this. Yeah. And then, yeah, what to harmonize. So there's a bunch of foundational stuff, right? The price waterfall, you better get that figured out. Product and customer hierarchies and attributes. Pricing metrics, a bit less important. Having one pricing system. And then the high-level processes. These things need to be really understood. Approvals may vary in different geographies or business units. Detailed processes can vary. Segmentation may vary, but and then the discounts and rebates, it's really hard to harmonize all that stuff. But having a common framework as much as you can. Having things that really are fixed rules, like price waterfall, everything needs to fit in it. And then gradually working your way across in the level of harmonization, I think makes the most sense.